What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. The stock market has had 7 red weeks in a row, but this is the first time in 7 weeks that the stock market is set to end green. Stocks are finally back up. In this video, we're going to talk about some great opportunities to look at and some important things to know. So stick with us today. We have a great video. But Tom, fill us in on what's going on in the market.
Yeah, it was just a great day overall, Mike. Stocks are really low right now, and they're starting to rip back to the upside. A lot of growth stocks were up. We can see Square here was up 7%. There were even some stocks like Dollar Tree and Dollar General ripping this morning, like up 21% with Dollar Tree. It just really set the tone here this morning, Mike. And even like stocks like AMC and GameStop were exploding. AMC ended up closing up only 2.9%, but you can see that movement early in the morning was amazing. GameStop had a huge move, actually. They opened today around like 115 and ran up to 148 at the high. So we saw them explode. The China stocks were exploding. So yeah, it was just a great day overall, Mike. And it seems like stocks are almost back on the uptrend here. Like when I look at the SPY and I go out to like a longer term 1 hour chart here, we're finally kind of like breaking out of this little channel that we've been in for a while. And we finally saw some good momentum. So hopefully this can kind of keep up here tomorrow when we can maybe end the week strong. But just keep in mind, guys, we ripped up so high today, we might end up pulling back tomorrow a little bit.
Either way, I think it's awesome to see stocks finally bouncing back up. It's been so long since we had a green week in the markets. And guys, remember, when we see all this volatility and we see stocks at low prices, while it might hurt in the short term, these are the times where there's awesome opportunity to set your future self up for success by starting a long-term portfolio of good companies.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. And, you know, there's so many stocks at great levels, and we talk about it all the time, Mike, like Facebook, Square, DraftKings, of course, you know, Corsair. Like we're looking at so many stocks that are low. Asana, you know, some of these stocks also have insiders that have put millions and millions of dollars, in Asana's case, even $1 billion. So it's nuts, Mike. Stocks are so low, especially when you look at like those yearly, daily charts here. Asana's, of course, it's at $20 today, and it ran up like 2.3%, but we're still really close to that all-time low still. So, you know, there's still a lot of room to go up. Hopefully we continue this movement into tomorrow, Mike. And I think there's a pretty good chance, you know, there was a lot of momentum today. So hopefully this can keep up, and we'll end the week green, like you said. How many weeks was that, Mike? 8? I mean, that's just brutal there in the market. So at some point we had to rebound a little bit.
Yeah, so we've had 7 red weeks in a row. If we close green this week, that'd be awesome. If we close red, that would be the 8th red week. But we're set to close green, and I think we will. So that's good. Tom, Alibaba stock, it's exploding up today. They reported earnings. What's going on?
Yeah, it really exploded. You can see in the morning, they ran from like $84 in pre-market all the way up to $95 now at the highs today. And they had some amazing earnings actually come out. So in general, they beat pretty much across the board there. Their EPS was pretty good. But my favorite thing was their revenue climbed to 9% in a year-over-year period, which is pretty good considering all the crazy stuff that's been happening in China. You know, keep in mind, China institutes lockdowns and a lot of other stuff like that a lot more than some other countries do. So it's really hurt them economically over the past few years. And looking at Alibaba, you know, it sounds like these numbers, Mike, are pretty good. They're saying despite the macro challenges that impacted supply chain issues, they continue to focus on customer value proposition and building the capabilities to deliver value. And what was even better to me is CNN actually put out a great article that's titled Chinese consumers are stuck at home, but they're still spending a ton. And it pretty much goes into showing that even though that there's a lot of people stuck, you know, inside in China and they're not allowed to leave their houses and stuff, they're still ordering online and getting things delivered, kind of like what we saw happen in the US with like Amazon, Walmart, and a few other companies during the pandemic.
Yeah, what's very interesting is, you know, like when Apple and Microsoft and Amazon and all those other big tech companies, like when the world was locked down, Tom, like in mid 2020 or so, like their stocks dipped quite a bit when the pandemic started, but eventually they ended up rocketing back up. Baba, for the most part, has just been selling off for in like almost 2 years, I think, and they are yet to truly rocket back up. At the same time, their fundamentals are pretty good. There are some unique risks with Alibaba stock, like a possible delisting situation, but even in that scenario, you would not lose all of your shares, at least as of right now. And then another thing, too, is some people speculate that Alibaba might be lying about their numbers, and that is a unique risk, but some other top investors are into this company. So that might give you a little bit more, I guess you could say, trust in Alibaba, if that means anything. But either way, fundamentally, Alibaba's at a good level. Their stock is finally popping up after years of, horrible downtrends and bad movements. And their earnings report was pretty good, just like you said, Tom, especially for how crazy the lockdowns are in China right now.
Yeah, that's the big thing right now is that there's been a lot of issues even with supply chains and stuff, and they've been overcoming a lot of different unique issues. So it's good to see with Baba, and they're still ripping up here. I noticed Baidu also did well this morning. They were up 14%, so both stocks were ripping, and I even noticed that like NIO, XPEV, and a few of those other China EV companies were following along too. So don't forget about these stocks either. Sometimes some of these ones might end up being pretty good. I know that I've been looking a lot at Neo lately, of course, because a lot of people always talk about this one, Mike, and it seems like they're even forming a pretty good bottom support here around $14.50. So who knows? Maybe we'll see a nice uptrend out of these China stocks. And, we're starting to see them rise as the SPY was rising today. So I'm not saying that it's a sympathy move or anything, but it's definitely reassuring to see both US markets and like those China stocks moving at the same time.
There we go. All right, Tom. Well, what else is going on in the market?
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on with Dollar General and Dollar Tree right now, and they're flying up a lot. Like I said earlier, Dollar General's up 13%. Dollar Tree is actually up 21.8%. And they actually reported really good earnings today, of course. And Mike, these stocks generally do good during times of recessions and times of high inflation. They said that they're starting to see core customers shop more intentionally, which means that their customers are trying to save money and different things like that. So people are going to stop shopping at like some of the bigger retail stores. They're going to try to save some money while prices are high. So it seems like these stocks are doing very well after earnings, Mike. They raised their guidance quite a bit here. You can see their guidance was like 27.22 billion to 27.885 billion. Now they're at 27.76 billion to 28.14 billion. So it's always good to see that guidance rising, and these stocks, like I said, are exploding 21%. That's a huge uptrend there.
Yeah, that is crazy. And let's take a look at some of the companies like Target and Walmart and even Costco. Like they've been selling off so much lately, and it's just interesting to see how, certain stores perform better than other stores depending on the economic environment.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point here. Costco is reporting right now. They're kind of dipping back down. We have Walmart also kind of falling back off. So we'll have to see if they can end up holding up, with Costco's earnings tonight, because I bet that's going to send ripple effects through the whole retail sector. So we'll have to see where they end up tomorrow morning, because as we know, that movement goes all over the place. But yeah, the market did great today, Mike, and I hope this movement can continue. We haven't had a week like this, like you said, in like 7 weeks. So, hey, I'll take it. Hopefully we can end the week strong.
All right. And then, Tom, I also know there was some news with Elon Musk lately with the Twitter deal. So enlighten us.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. Tesla ended up actually rising, Mike, with this news, actually. So it was up 7% today. Twitter itself was exploding yesterday and after hours off of this news, and it ended up closing up 6.3%. But this is very interesting. So I want to keep in mind, guys, this can get a little bit confusing, but Elon Musk is going to put up $6 billion of his own dollars to drop Tesla loans, so that he's no longer going to finance the Twitter deal by borrowing against his Tesla shares. And that's a pretty big deal. Number one for Tesla, but also for Twitter. It pretty much shows that he's committing a lot of his own money to this deal. So it's good to hear. It sounds like right now, Mike, the deal, it seems like people are at least expecting it now to go through a little bit more than they were before this happened. That's kind of why their stock ended up popping up a little bit like this. But like I said, it was a little bit confusing with how he was going to be borrowing against Tesla shares and different things like that. So it's kind of cool to see him kind of changing up the way he's funding this.
Exactly. And because originally, like, so Elon had a loan against Tesla shares, like you said, and if those shares fell significantly, he would have got margin called on some of his shares. So that would have been a rare and unlikely event. But considering that he's not really using Tesla shares anymore to get the Twitter deal, that kind of is just a good sign for Tesla stock overall.
Yeah, it is. And Twitter. It looked like Twitter got a big boost there. But yeah, Tesla's really ripping up, right? We're even back up above $700 now, which is amazing. And whenever I look at Tesla on that yearly chart, Mike, it's been getting quite low lately. So I'm glad to see it coming back up here. Hopefully, this helps renew people's confidence because I remember whenever the Twitter deal happened, Tesla started falling down a little bit because people were too worried that Elon wouldn't pay enough attention to Tesla. But he has been refuting that lately.
Alrighty. Well, Tom, do you have any favorite setups heading into tomorrow?
Yeah, we talked a lot about DraftKings today in the Discord, Mike, and I'll tell you, it's right around the highs of the week right here, right around 1466. So looking pretty good. We might continue to see some nice breakouts with this. It kind of broke out of that little wedge that it was in earlier in the week. I'm really liking that movement with SPY, of course, too. It's continuing to rip up as all these stocks help push it up. I know that one of my other favorite plays lately, Mike, has been Zoom, and I really liked how it consolidated today right around 108. I know that me and you have been talking about this one quite a bit in Discord lately, and it looks like it's primed to maybe start to break those highs from earnings. So I'm going to really keep Zoom on the radar. I think that's a pretty big double top here.
Yeah, like I love the price action on Zoom. I am just a little bit worried that we might be a little bit overextended to the upside, considering it went from 87.50 all the way up to 108 in like 3 trading days. Besides that, I love it.
Yeah, me too. That's the main concern right now. Almost everything has been flying up over the past few days. Even SPY ran from like 390 now up to 407. I know that's not near as big of a move as that, but lots of stocks have been kind of running up this week in general. So I am a little bit worried the stocks are overextended too, and hopefully we can just continue to see these breakouts because this week so far we've been seeing nice continuation. So I have a good feeling that if the SPY and the overall market continues up, I feel like some of these growth plays at least have a good shot. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens because it's going to be risky. Like you said, it's not just Zoom that's been running up. It's a lot of plays, even like Boeing and some of these airlines are pretty overextended in the short term.
Exactly. So, guys, take advantage of the market right now. There's a lot of great companies at low levels. It doesn't mean that it's the bottom, but ultimately, buying stocks for the long term during times like these are what will set your future self up for success. Like it doesn't have to be the companies we invest in. There's so many stocks at good levels right now. Just make sure you're buying good companies. Like, don't be buying into Nikola. Like, we have Disney at a low level. Like, Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook. Like there's so many companies out there. Consider starting a long-term portfolio if you don't have one yet. It's a good decision. But Tom, let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. With the first one, we have BABA to the upside.
Yeah, good old Baba here. Go ahead and make them break out above $95.10, right around that high of day. And that'll also be a pretty good break of a pretty big trend line there too.
Sounds good. With the next one, we have Square, also to the upside.
Yeah, Square here. Go ahead and make them break above, let's just say $84.
All right. And with the last one, we have Upwork, also to the upside.
Yeah, Upwork is moving up here. Go ahead and make them break above 1782.
Sounds good. So we're watching Upwork, Square, and BABA for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above the levels Tom listed. I just want to give a giant shout out to our member of the day, B Square. Thank you so much for your very consistent support for StockedUp. Tom and I really appreciate you. So huge shout out to B Square. Tom, overall, I'm very excited to see stocks finally uptrending again. Hopefully this continues for a long time. It's so nice and it's just relieving to see stocks not crashing for 1 week.
Yeah, it really is. Like we've been seeing constant downwards at price action just week by week. So I'm really glad to see some good breakouts here. Like I said, it seems like on the SPY, we're finally kind of like breaking out of a pretty good range that we've been in for a while. There's also that big support that we just moved past back above today, which was $400. So, even if the market does pull back tomorrow, as long as we can hold like maybe like 398 or 400, I still think the market will be setting up very well for next week. So keep in mind, we are a little bit overextended, but hopefully that momentum picks up and we can continue tomorrow, Mike. Like we said, it's been a great day, great week overall, and hopefully we just see some nice more momentum. And I think it'll make for some amazing day trades if the market can keep booming tomorrow, but we'll just have to see.
There we go. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. And let us know what stocks you were watching in the comments down below. And let's have a great end to the week.